All right. Hi. Shalom, shalom, shalom. First, I'm going to say, call on Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekakwadash. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the God of Gods. There is no other God besides him. And much love to his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and other names that don't have no power. Much love to the beautiful chosen children of Israel, whoever they may be among the children of Israel. Much love to the Akim, the prophets, the brothers that's in the word, and they do everything in their power to show Yahweh Shem Yahushua that they love him and they fear him. Much love to the Akwaf, the beautiful women that's in the word, and whether you got a man or not, you still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. You listen and you learn in silence. Coming back at you with another video through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Amen to him. Times is, drawing near, gradually drawing near. Today's title is called 5 Years Left. 5 years left, because the enemy is running short on time. So he doesn't have much time to get this NWO thing on board. And, I've been hearing a lot about the Agenda 2030, and he has to get a lot of the stuff into motion before his time is up, because as we know, it ain't no surprise that they are falling out of rulership. So we can go to that famous quote in Revelations. There we go. So we go to the Bible Gateway app, which is, a quick app. Well, the Bible is, but you can, you remember certain verses and all that. It'll just do a quick pull up. It's Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil hath come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. So, before we can read some of this, and then we could go down to their agenda and the things that they need to do. As you can see in this portrait, it's been what it say, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, who cover up the faces of the judges of thereof. Where, if not, where and who is he? So what they did is that everything that's supposed to be black, they put it white for white supremacy. So they're the gods, they're the angels in heaven, God is white, all those things, when that's not accurate. But this is one of those portraits that's inaccurate, but pretty much that's, I guess, Michael, which is the angel of war. And then you got the seven-headed dragon as well. And then you have the marriage between Yahweh Shai and Israel in heaven when all this is said and done. Well, heaven on earth. So in actuality, the great red dragon is actually the white man and the NATO unions that are together. They're all in cahoots. They all together. They all a part of this scheme for total control of world dominance. And what's going to happen is that Yahweh Shai is going to come down and command, which is his son, the Messiah or the Christ according to the Bible. And he's going to come with Michael, the angel of war, angel of chaos. and they will come to destroy. They will come to destroy the devil, which is the white man, his world power, and these elites, and remove them out of power. And when that happens, Israel is at the top, which you see Israel with Yahweh Shai right there. But that's the false image, is Jesus Christ. That's the false image. That's white supremacy. But we know the real translation is that at the top is the marriage between Yahweh Shai and Israel being rejoined through the new covenant. That's the new covenant right there, the new promise. And they will be saved, and the devil will be destroyed, and the devil will be cast back into slavery, and the rest of the nations will follow suit, and Israel will dwell with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and be an authority with Yahweh Shai and King David among the elect, which is the prophets, and they will rule over the earth forever. So if you wanted that breakdown, there it is. Each and every head represents a different nation from the past and now. I forgot the specific nations that I forgot that they were a part of. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. But I'm going to read this real quick. This is Revelations 11. And wait. Okay, chapter 12. We could start from the top. Revelations chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun, and under her feet and upon her head were a crown of 12 stars. So that woman is Israel. And the 12 stars is the 12 tribes of Israel, the true Israelites. You Negroes, you Mexicans, and you Native Americans, and the speckled bird of the children of Israel, because it's Israelites that are white, Israelites that are Japanese. You can have Israelites that are Russian, depending on the forefather seed, which comes through the Israelite man, which is through the heads, the Negroes, Mexicans, and Indians, because they spread it out. So their kids could look like they Japanese, their kids could look like they Russian, but if they got a black father, then the child is an Israelite. So it goes like that through the father seed. If the child is if the child is born through a white man and a black woman, then the child would be his by his seed, and it wouldn't be Israelite. So that right there is that right there is the truth. Is the truth about it all. It's not about the flesh at all. It's about the spirit, because Israel is taken a liking to every nation on the earth. So it says, and she being with child, travailing in birth and in pain to be delivered. So that is she's giving birth to the truth, and the truth is Yahweh Shai. That Yahweh Shai was black, and that his descendants are black, and that he came and he passed away for his chosen, and he didn't come to save the world. He came to save his chosen. And that's exactly what the 12 prophets were. They were the chosen. They were prophets that died and reincarnated, and they were also his best friends, except for Judas. But as far as I'm concerned, with the rest of the Israelites in the past that followed Yahweh Shai, and they did everything that they could to help him and his prophets on his journey and his passion, them the ones that cared. So it's not going towards even all of the Israelites, is going towards the chosen of the Israelites. Now, the woman in the sky represent all the Israelites as a whole, but the Lord got to punish the 2/3 for them not converting back when the hour of temptation came. So the hour of temptation is the grain of rice. That's exactly what that is, and putting into your skin the grain of rice. So when the time happened to where the collapse came, and this restart with the elites restarting everything has come forth, and it's engaging full time, then the children of Israel, instead of them realizing that this is the liberation, this is the end of their slavery, because the collapse and the restart is the representation of the liberation of the Israelites being broken away from slavery. So for those of us that know that, all we got to do is rely on Yahweh Shem Shai and not return to the system. But those of them that are not in the knowledge or just ignorant, or they don't believe, they are going to rejoin the system by getting the grain of rice in their skin. And they will be a part of the system worshiping the white man as God. So that's why Yahweh Shem Shai is talking about the chosen, even though after the 2/3 passed away and they regrafted back in through the chosen, giving birth to them, because that's how reincarnation works. You know, you die, you be reborn back onto the earth 4 generations later. They will come back and they will receive their portion of the inheritance, whether it be small or great. But they will still be a part of the inheritance, and they won't have to suffer or go through nothing no more, and they'll be corrected fully. So all the Israelites will be corrected. They all will be a part and connected to Yahweh Shem Shai, so they'll be able to follow all the laws without breaking them. They'll be immortal. They'll be super powerful. Nobody will come against them again. They'll be ultra rich. They will be the governments. They will be the Illuminati in the good way. They will be restored as the rightful gods they are. They are the gods. They are the gods. Before all these false gods appeared and all these false idols appeared, the Israelites were the original gods that everybody worshiped. But they went off and they ended up being mingling with the world, and they turned their back on Yahweh Shem Shai, and they fell into lust and whoredoms and things of the flesh and things of the world. And they assumed the position of being just like everybody else when they weren't, which is the ultimate disrespect in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Shai, is to abandon him and his ways, break his laws, and on top of that, to be assumed as a regular human being when you are a god. That's disrespectful. So that's why we're in the position that we're in, and that's why the Israelites, we suffered the way we did. And but it's all from the teachings of Yahweh Shem Shai to know light and darkness. So we have to know great evil, and then we have to know great light. In order to be a god, you got to know good and evil. That's one of the rules. So with the children of Israel, we've learned that, and we are at the end of our captivity and at the end of our slavery. Like I said, all they got to do when the hour of temptation come is not return to the system when it's remade. That's all they have to do, or to not comply per se, But let me continue to read some of this. My voice is raspy because it's kind of cold out there, and I don't know, them clouds thick. Try to get me sick. It says, and she cried, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and in pain to be delivered. It says, because the truth was coming, and the truth is out now. So it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And them 10 horns represent power, and the 7 crowns represent the nations and authority. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. So that is the 2/3. That's the 2/3 that fell against the 1/3 who are the chosen. So so in a weird way, the woman in the sky is the chosen. Those of us that believe and we know the truth, and you spread out the truth and you tell people about it. And you do it through the internet, or you be on the highways and byways, or the word is getting out through them. So that makes them the chosen, compared to the rest of the Israelites that don't care, and they trust in the system, they trust in the white supremacy, they trust in their enemy to take care of them, and they don't believe that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to rescue them, or they don't believe in the truth at all. And some of them would rather stay in the white supremacy doctrine, which is white Jesus, white angels, the Israelites are white, all of that, which are lies. So it says, and his tail drew And his tail drew a third of this part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And we mentioned that they stars too. So these are gods too. The 2/3 are gods too, but they are technically angels, but they're fallen angels. And then the 1/3 are the angels that was fallen once and risen back to their estate. So it does say that, it says, for the angels which not kept their estate, but are reserved in chains of everlasting darkness, all the way to the great and terrible day. So these it's a double translation from my perspective, because you got angels that came down here to suffer with the children of Israel, and then you got the children of Israel being angels, and being in this flesh until the end times, But the real translation is the prophets coming down here in human form to guide the Israelites back into Yahweh Shem Shai's glory. But nonetheless, the Israelites are angels. They are, all of them. But you got the ones that are fallen, and then you got the ones that rose back to their state. We woke up. We remembered who we are. We remembered who our God is. Yahweh Shem Shai woke us up out of the valley of dry bones. He got us on. He told us everything that we needed to know. The prophets, he sent the prophets. They guided us. They guided us, and we read the Bible, and the Bible was locked. Now it was unlocked, and then we had the eyes to see and read and understand what the Bible was really trying to say. So it says, and cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to devour her child as soon as it was born. Because that's the thing that's standing in the white man's way. That's the thing that's standing in the devil's way, is the truth. And he felt like if he destroyed the children of Israel, the chosen ones, that it would stop Yahweh Shem Shai's coming. But even he knows that he cannot stop what's been written. And it's been written and finished thousands of years ago. And this has been prophesied thousands of years ago, that he would fall and the Israelites would take his place as rulership in heaven. And heaven means rulership, So it says, and she brought forth the man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to Yahweh and to his throne. So that child is Yahweh Shai. That child, that's who the child is. The child is Yahweh Shai, that's going to rule these all these nations and take them by force. So the children of Israel really don't have to do nothing. The Yahweh Shem Shai, who is the leader of the 12 tribes of Israel, is the ones that's going to take the crown from these powers. And like they said in the Bible, Esau, or the white man, is the god of this world. So he considers himself a power. So in order for him to be removed, another power has to remove him. And that is the heavenly power, which is Yahweh Shem Shai, sending his son Yahweh Shai for the second coming. So it says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had had a place prepared by Yahweh, and that they should feed her there 1,203 score days, that she would be protected. That's what the 144,000 is for, to protect the believers of the children of Israel. And also, they are the ones that are exempt from judgment. So it wouldn't be a surprise that really the 144,000 are the ones exempt for judgment, and they have the power to defend themselves, and they've been granted immortality and supernatural powers to destroy their enemies. But there is a possibility that the 1/3 would survive, the ones that don't have powers, and they would be protected until it's time for Yahweh Shem Shai to call down his angels to come pick them all up in them ships, and for them to leave the ground before the nuclear bombs fall. So yeah, because it's really about Yahweh Shem Shai's chosen. So I'm just trying to be honest. But they do have the 1/3 story. So yeah, there's that. And it says, and there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. So when Yahweh Shai came, he sent Michael and his band of angels to come and deal with the white man and his angels. So the white man got the B-52 bombers, those jets, choppers, planes, giant warships, giant airplanes, gunships, and they made war with Yahweh Shai and his army. And Michael, the angel of chaos, was leading them, and they got into a big fight. So we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here to see that war. We're gonna see the heavens erupt with flames and planes falling out of the sky and things being blown up and a whole lot of firepower, a whole lot of ammunition. And this is gonna be a joint effort. So during the time of World War III, when they fighting each other, Yahweh Shai is going to come. They're going to stop fighting each other, and they're going to go against the Messiah. And guess what happens after? So if you watch Independence Day, that is a complete depiction of what is going to happen when this event occurs. So it says, and prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. So that not only that they got blown up out of the sky, they lost rulership. It says, and the dragon was cast out. It says, the serpent of old, called the devil and Satan. So that is the white man. It says, who deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. See, now a Christian that don't know how to read would actually be like, see, there's the fallen angels, there's Satan, there's the devil. There's the devil. He was an angel of music, and he served Yahweh and he served God, and he didn't want to bow to man, so he led a third of the angels in heaven, and he fought Michael and lost and got cast out. No, that's not the story. That's not how it went. It's kind of a both. It's kind of like a fantasy and a realistic level. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's like fantasy and like dream, like fantasy and like reality on a realistic level. It's kind of weird to say, but the spiritual world has a realistic way of it being ran. Like it got rules. It has a perspective, like, like something that we would be able to understand. Those of us that are living and we on a realistic plane, like a physical plane, when it comes to the heaven and Yahweh Shem Shai's rulership, it's realistic, actually. So this is the actual interpretation of that. And it says his angels were cast out with him. So when they lost that fight in the sky and they got blown up and he took that L, he was cast out of power. And Yahweh Shai assumed power on the earth. So it says, and I heard a loud voice saying, now has come the salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, who accused them before Yahweh day and night. That's right. So we all on the news. We the laughing stock of the world. Everybody paints the black man as the enemy. Everybody sees dark-skinned or brown people as filthy. Everybody made fun of the children of Israel, even though they wanted to be them. Everybody wanted to be with them, even though they hated them, because of the media, because of the white supremacy, because of all these things that were against them. And the people that hated them, which is the white supremacy and these elites, wanted to take their place. That's what happened. They wanted to be the Israelites, but they kept getting denied. But every time they would go before Yahweh Shem Shai, they would show the nakedness of our people, the error, our mistakes, our infighting, our dark ways, our corruption, all these things, and be like, you see, they're not fit to be your people. We should be your people. And Yahweh Shem Shai is watching, but he denies them all the time. Why? Because he loves his people. And he's there. We're the only people that he made a covenant with. The promises to us. And he knows that. So it says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. That's the new covenant. And by the sword of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil hath come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has a short time. So that is kicking in tenfold right now. So the title is 5 years left. The Agenda 2030 must be completed. And this is what they have to do. They're running out of time. They're running out of rulership. So pretty much this is the last go around for to hang on to the world before it's torn away from them. So it says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman who brought forth the man-child. So that is the chosen. It says, and the woman was given 2 wings of an eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. The chosen was given power to escape the grasp of Satan. He was given that kind of power. So this is kind of like a chronological order. So when the devil fell, or he's in the process of falling, he knew he knew who was causing it, and it was not only Yahweh, but it was his children, his grandchildren per se, which is the chosen, that was spreading out the word on the highways and byways, telling people on the internet. So now here come the most wanted posts. Here come during the time where the grain of rice is inserted in people taking it. That he would broadcast, like, in order for all of this to go away, or some sort of lie, in order for this calamity to stop, y'all got to go find the prophets and the believers that believe in this doctrine and this truth. They're going to try to criminalize it, make it look like some sort of Satanism, because a lot of this is going to scare a lot of people. When these dark prophecies manifest, it's going to scare the crap out of a lot of the people. A lot of our own people, a lot of the nations, they're going to be frightened, because the predictions of the prophets was true. The Bible was predicted to be a true book. Everything was right about it. And they're going to be like that, and they're going to be dumbfounded, and they're going to be like, how did you know all this was going to happen? Like, how did you guys know? And all we did was listen to Yahweh, and we listened to his word, and we read the book, and the prophecies were accurate. But that's what's going to scare the crap out of him, that it was all true. So he's going to criminalize the prophets and go after them. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the believers, even if they wasn't on the highways and byways, they still spoke up and they acknowledged that they are the children of Israel. Everybody that's heard this word and agreed to it and acknowledged it, everybody's going to be under attack. So like I said, that was in a chronological order, because that's going to happen before the war in heaven. So he's going to take that fall before the war in heaven, because all of that, the restart that he's setting up, is not going to work. It's just not going to work. So it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth the water as a flood after the woman. That's the media, that's the internet, turning everything against her, turning everything against the chosen, and criminalizing them, making it seem like they witches and they warlocks and they demons, and they not the people that they say they are. They just into witchcraft, and they are the monsters. They are the elites. They the ones that's causing the world to be destroyed. And if you want this to stop, you would turn them in and or kill them. So that's when your family members going to turn against you, your friends, people that you used to know, people that you might end up taking in that you don't know, that are that got the grain of rice in them, people that happened to heard your word and came back and probably got denied of their blessing because they didn't believe. And when the doors closed, when the famine of the word came, that's when they came for you to help heal their children, help get the diseases off them, help them, save them out of this chaos, and you denied them. So they went and came back with the NATO. They came back with soldiers and all of that, and tried to get you to turn yourself in, or you got turned in, you got arrested for you believing in what you believe. Yeah, all that's going to happen, because they want to be saved. They want some sort of asylum. And if they don't get it from you, they're going to get it from the white supremacy. They're going to get it from the elites. And that's no better, because like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said, anybody that takes the grain of rice and put it in their hand, they going to taste the hellfire from the nuclear event. So I wouldn't want to do all that. I'd rather suffer and not be seduced in the hour of temptation than to wait until the nuclear bombs hit and happen to see something like that on the ground. You know, to see that magnitude of the nuclear event, like 24, 20, 20, what, how many missiles? How many missiles going? I forgot how many missiles going to hit this place, but it's going to be a lot. To see the air dissolve, to see shit looking warped, to see the earthquakes, you know, to see the ground, the lava spoil up, to see the sky fall, you know, to go blind, and then to feel the hellfire, because when you look at a nuclear event close by, you could go blind off the shine of it, off the light of it. So, you know, it's a lot of different ways to die during that time. But what's most important is that you do not take that grain of rice and put it in your hand or your forehead. Because rumor has it on the right hand or the forehead is the part where I think it's the warmest part of your body or the coolest part of your body. I don't know. But it has something to do with temperature, so that the grain of rice can exist without it, can actually work without it overheating or something like that. But them the only two places that can fit. That's the rumor. So it's identical to what the Bible had to say about that grain of rice, you know. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and he went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Those are the chosen. And some of the chosen is going to have powers, supernatural powers to defend themselves. And some of them, you know, is going to be protected by those people. And then some of us might just be taken and tried and tested. It's just going to be like that. It says, who kept the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahushai. So rumor has it that according to the prophecy that if you're in the new covenant, you don't have to deal with all of this. You know, but if you don't believe in the new covenant or you're a part of the old covenant, then you'll be condemned to its laws, and you could be taken in and you could be snatched up for that. So, you know, I believe in the new covenant. I believe that Yahushai had went through his passion and he shed his blood to protect the chosen children of Israel, of those who will believe in the new covenant now, because ain't no way that I'm going to be judged to the older covenant and I'm going to be found innocent, but I haven't even followed all the laws. I'm not perfect, because basically you're saying that you're perfect without Yahweh Shem Yahushai making you perfect. That's pretty much what you're saying, and that you didn't need him to make it. So the new covenant is there for those of us that are not perfect, and we know we sin, and we know that we need Yahweh Shem Yahushai to make us pure, to make us whole. And through his son Yahushai, through his blood, we are in the new covenant, we are in the new promise, and we are protected. So when these times come, we will be protected. So that's what that's there for, to be able to be blessed and to be cleaned, and to be not judged and to not be judged by the law. So we could get some of these 2030 or the Georgia Guidestone rules real quick. So for the Georgia Guidestones, it says, explain. It says a massive granite monument of the conservation of mankind and future generations. Sources for the sizable financing of the project chose to remain anonymous, but we already know who created this. It says the wording of the message proclaimed on the monument is in 12 languages, and in the Archaic language, and the Sanskrit, Babylonian, and cuneiform Egyptian. It says hieroglyphics, and classical Greek, as well as English, Russian, Hebrew, Arabic, Hindi, Chinese, Spanish, and Swahili. So it's pretty much like I said, the Great Red Dragon. They're all united. They're all together. All the nations, all one under one order. The NWO. So it says the guides followed by explanatory precepts are as followed. It says the words here are exactly as the sponsors provided them. It says maintain humanity under 500 million or 500 in a perpetual balance with nature. Means the entire human race as its climax level for permanent balance in nature. So that is a part of the depopulation, or 500,000. I think it's 500,000. Let me see. Oh, wait, let me see. Yeah, that's not a lot. So 500 million people out of 8 billion or 8.5 billion people is very little. That's not a lot of people. So they're talking about the depopulation. I just wanted to confirm that. Where did it go? And they got 5 years left to do this. So we're going to read the rest of it. And it says message and mystery for mankind. And it also brought to mind the great whore, the mystery of Babylon too, for some strange reason. This was a part of that mystery, even though it's no longer a mystery. So we can read the rest of it. So we're going to start back at the top again. It says maintain humanity under 500 million in a perpetual balance with nature. That's not a perpetual balance with nature. That's a depopulation. Because it's still 8.5 billion people in the world, and it ain't nothing wrong with the earth. The earth can provide everything for everybody. It's just that somebody is taking everything and saying that it's not enough for everybody because they got it all. So it says, means the entire human race at its climax level for permanent balance with nature. It says guide, reproduce wisely, improve finances and diversity. It says without going into details as yet undiscovered, this means humanity should apply reason and knowledge to guiding its own reproduction, fitness, and be translated as health. Diversity could be translated as variety. So they want to control the populace. It says unite humanity with a living new language. As a living language grows and changes with advancing knowledge, a new language will be developed. It says de novo, and need not necessarily be adapted for any language now in existence. So it might be the same thing that they did for the Tower of Babylon, to unite all people under one language again. So that's my guess for it. It says rule passion, faith in all things. It says with tempered reason. It says faith here may be used in a religious sense. Too often people are ruled by blind faith, even when it may be contrary to reason. Reason must be tempered with compassion, but must prevail. So a new faith, a new religion. They don't want you to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They want you to believe in them. So it says, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Courts must be considered justice as well as law. It says, let all nations be ruled internally, resolving external disputes in a world court, all under one rule, one law, one people. So it says, individuals have a natural concern for their personal welfare, but man is social is a social animal and must also be concerned for the group. Failure of society means failure for individual citizens. So it says balance personal rights with duties. It says prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. The infinite here means the supreme being, whose will is manifest in all the workings of the cosmos if we will seek for it. So that they're not talking about our God. They're talking about some other God. So it says, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Creepy. It says, in our time, the growth of humanity is destroying the natural conditions of the earth, which have fostered all existing life. We must restore the balance. So that's depopulation plan. They want to kill everybody. They want to get rid of everybody. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not going to allow something like this to prevail. So this is what the Lord got to say about that. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. It says, if those days had not been cut short, no flesh would survive, but for the sake of the chosen, those days will be shortened. So if the white supremacy, if Esau and these bankers, these elites had their way, nobody would survive these events. Nobody. Everybody would die and be consumed. That's because the days are long, the years are long. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has shortened those times, so this can happen faster, and we can be saved in the process. So that's why he says, Yahweh Shai says, behold, I am coming quickly, because this stuff is happening very, very fast, extremely fast, faster than what we believe. And this devil is running out of time. That's why I said they got 5 years left, all the way up to 2030, and then the gates of hell is going to open, pretty much, and a lot of calamity and a lot of stuff is going to happen all the way leading up to 2030. A lot of shit is about to go down very drastically, very fast, an extreme change in the environment, because the real game is about to begin, and the devil's time is running out. And he knows that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is coming for his vengeance, and he's coming for his debt, and he's coming for his chosen. So that was the lesson for right now, because I gotta be able to download this without it cutting off on me, because my mobiles will be tripping. But I'm gonna probably get another lesson in a couple days from now. And with that, calling Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, in the name of Yahushua, Shalom, Amen.